Many women, shaped by social narratives, emotional survival mechanisms, and sometimes even unresolved trauma, will create internal scripts of how relationships should unfold. What a man should do, what a man should say, how a man should be, how a man should become. These scripts are not always based on partnership, but most often they're always based on control, protection, and projected expectations. They're always written in the mind long before the relationship even matures. I mean, sometimes even before the relationship starts, they already have that script. In many relationships, especially earlier on, yani ile pale senye uko on the honeymoon period, here's how the script will look like. He should text like this. He should know what I need without asking. He should prioritize me this way. He should dress this way. He should talk this way. He should act this way. This script may not be verbalized, but it's energetically enforced. Umeenda, I will talk. Through silent treatments, passive aggression, or even emotional withdrawal, if it's not followed. When a man unconsciously conforms to that script, seeking peace, seeking validation, or even love, then they risk losing touch with their own center. Ironically, this obedience often backfires. When a man abandons his own vision to follow someone else's emotional demands, he becomes what she thought she wanted, what she assumed she wanted, and then loses her respect. Why? Because many women are attracted to masculine grounding, not obedience. They want a man with a spine, not just a smile. They want a man who leads with clarity, not confusion. When he trades his truth for her comfort, she may get what she asked for, but not what she needs to trust or even admire. A self-aware man doesn't fight the woman's script. He simply refuses to abandon his own. He listens, he understands, he adapts, but he doesn't dissolve. His script is not rigid ego. It's rooted in tension. He's done the inner work. He knows his purpose. His boundaries are clear. His path is aligned. And his love is offered from a place of fullness, not performance. This kind of man will often trigger resistance at first. He challenges emotional manipulation. He doesn't play games. He refuses to dim his light to make someone else feel safe in their shadow. But over time, through consistency, emotional mastery, and unshakable vision, she surrenders not in defeat, but in trust. She relaxes because she finally feels led, not controlled. True intimacy begins when both partners burn their personal script and choose to write a shared one, based on mutual growth, respect, truth, and spiritual alignment. But this can only happen when the man refuses to abandon his mission to fit into a fantasy. And when the woman learns that surrendering to grounded leadership is not weakness, it's wisdom. A man who bends for validation, they become forgettable quick, fast. But a man who stands in his truth, lovingly, firmly, and consistently, they become undeniable. Because in the end, it's not the script that wins her over. It's the spine behind the script. The man who refuses to disappear into the relationship and instead brings the relationship into alignment with something higher. My people, heal. Heal.